and everything's recorded. Lovely professional. Lovely jubbly, mate. Alright. So yeah, my name's Chris. I'm the owner of Alpha Grafikon. Today I'm coming at you with a website showcase for the Alpha Children's Shelter in Mityana. You may have seen me share some bits about this. You may be wondering what the hell's going on. How was Chris Lamb, if you know me? The Children's Shelter. The owner, probably, I don't know when it was, summer last year maybe, or Ishmael came to me, asked me for a website to help them out. He said he left children's shelter that they didn't want to work with anymore because they weren't licensed, and he'd moved across to some children that needed his help. He said there were 10 children in the shelter and he would just love a website that could collect donations. I was fine with this. I was all for getting it set up, wasn't going to charge him anything. However, I wasn't going to set up a website to receive donations, a whole thing linked to Alpha Grafikon, without making sure that this children's shelter was licensed by the correct authorities. So Lamboye, he told me about the process. He said you need to go to a government official, you need to get everything sorted, you need to have a bank account in the children's shelter name so no one person receives the funds. The only issue was this cost money. The shelter didn't have any money. We were at Alpha Grafikon, I was in a giving mode. I was trying to give away everything because nobody knew who I was. So I was giving away everything for free. And no, it's me! Please notice me! And then Alpha the Children's Shelter was one of them. So after a little bit of deliberation with myself and the people around me, I was very dubious about sending money across to Uganda, as you can imagine. So I took the leap of faith and I just thought, if I send the money and Lamboye keeps it for himself or whatever, at least the karma lies with him, and I tried to do the right thing. So I sent the money across, and it turns out Lamboye, he was a man of his word, and he went and he got the children's shelter licensed. You'll probably see the license on the screen, depending how graphic-y I am feeling. Graphic-y. Depending on how graphic-y I am feeling, right? It's a real word. It's my company. I'll say what I want. So yeah, he got it all sorted, and then the way we worked with him, we got the website set up, tried to get some donations in. It hasn't really come off. The world's a bit broke, nobody has any money, everyone's a bit dubious when a new charity pops up out of absolutely nowhere, but it's absolutely fine. The way we tried to set it up is, it wanted like a charity where you make your donations and you see exactly where your donations go. I'm hoping at some point to get them on the more of a social vibe. Lamboye does have a phone, it's how I keep in touch with him, so I'm hoping to have some social media presence and share to them. So I want to try and set up the children's shelter almost like a business in a way. Alpha Grafikon, we take on an entrepreneur who has an idea and we build a business around that idea, and then we set them free with all the knowledge and all the tools they need to fully succeed. This is no different. I want to see if we can do it with the children's shelter. I was discussing with Lamboye the other day, how much farmland do you have? What sort of stuff are you farming? Can you sell any of this stuff? We are going to get them a well at some point in the future. We're going to go out with the team, get a private well put in for them so they don't have to walk as far. When we've done this and they've got their own water, I'm thinking about getting a water purifier installed somewhere, and then they can bottle up the water and maybe make money from that and sell it to the local people. Who knows? Possibilities are absolutely endless, but what we want to do is get them generating their own recurring revenue on a month-by-month basis so they do eventually become self-sufficient, and the Alpha Children's Shelter then funds itself, and we don't have any need for outside influence unless we're going to the next place and then to the next place, because I don't just want one Alpha Children's Shelter. I love Alpha Children's Shelters all over, absolutely everywhere. With the license, when everything got licensed, there was a decision to rename the children's shelter because it didn't really have a name, so we decided to rename it the Alpha Children's Shelter, which I really liked. The Alpha Children's Shelter, Alpha Grafikon. Hopefully it'll be the beginning of a lot of new things. Get your words out, Chris. Let's jump through. We're going to have a look at the website, see how everything pans out. We're going to see the way the shelter was looking, and then we're going to have a look at what we've actually done for them in the time that we have been on board. So we'll make me small. I'm going to shuffle around in my chair. I'm just going to open something. Go. So here we are then, make me tiny in the bottom of the screen. Lovely job. And here we are. So we have, as always with every single one of our sites, you are registered for your desktop, your tablet and your mobile. This is a Google must now. You will get dropped up to 27 pages if you do not do this. So that's your desktop, your mobile and your tablet in the middle there. We're going to jump into the desktop view. So at the top of the page we've got a promo that you can see playing straight away. You've got some images there. As soon as we begin, that's a bedroom. That was the kitchen at the bottom. We did this promo for them. You can see that they are trying to farm their own land, but there is no private water supply for them. A couple of children in the back. what we're going to do, we're going to scroll down a little bit further. We will watch the promo in a second. So our vision, all of this website is written from the point of view of Lumboye, who helps the shelter. It's all come from him, and all we've done is just stuck it in the website to try and give it an authentic feel. I could make it all sound professional and wordy-dirty, but it's Lumboye who's trying to get his point across, so I wanted it to be from his point of view. So our vision is to help the poor, the vulnerable and the poor, and try and give them something that they can count on, giving them food and assisting them with going to school, or at the very least learning, which we have done up until this point. I think they are just going back to school with everything that's closed down. Scrolling down, our mission is to make a difference. Lumboye wants to make a difference, and there's some information about why he wants to make a difference and where we began. So the shelter only began in March. This all started when he lost his dad in 2008. He was on his own, and then he had a benefactor who gave him some land, and then everything just moved from there, which is absolutely insane. What we're going to do then, we're going to watch the promo that we have created for them. Let's throw it on. So that was a little promo that we created for them right at the start, just to grab people's attention really at the top and hopefully gain some donations somewhere down the line. Scrolling a little bit further down, then we're going to meet the team. We have Lumboye, who I have mentioned. Here he is, and now he makes sure that the children have everything they need. If there's ever a problem in the shelter, he comes to me. If we do ever send him any money for anything, which we do, he sends me the receipt. He's on point, this guy, is what I'm trying to say. He's a good guy. And then here we have Mrs. Nabunya, lives on site. She helps the children from a day-to-day basis. She has got some issues with her knees at the moment. There's a lot of water in her knees, and she does need some medication so she can carry on with everything that she's doing. We are hopefully going to drum up some donations, and there's some work coming in that I'm working on, so when all that comes in, I'll probably just send the money over. Then we've got my lovely face there, looking all beautiful. We assist in raising the funds through Alpha Grafikon and through donations. Then we've got my Director of Operations, Gareth Alexander, with his lovely little girl Bella, and he does exactly the same as what I do. Both of us are on call for the shelter pretty much every single day. Lumboye does drop in with us, he lets us know if there's any issues, and we try and help, we try and offer advice. If we can't help with funds on any particular day, we try and help for like advice on how can you get around it, mate. Come on, what are we doing? What's happening? Our mission again, we want people to receive help at some point in their life when they need it, so they'll be more likely to give help later on when somebody else needs it. We're trying to pay it forward, and hopefully the karma will go from person to person, and everybody will eventually help everybody. We got a little video on the left hand side here for children dancing. Serious move there. Kids weren't bad as well. Future plans. We're going to go big, maybe get some more kids in there. There's only 10 in there at the moment, but we are supporting the kids in the local village as and where we can. Coming a little bit further down, help us make a difference. We've already seen Mrs. Nabunya with Lumboye, and then we've got a couple of little boys that live there. Here are some of the children with some Bibles, excuse me, and then I've got the hiccups, this is a nightmare. And then we've got Lumboye with a couple of little girls that live there. All pages have calls to action where you can donate through GoFundMe, which I'll jump onto after this. About Mityana, so we're going to jump in here. We thought it'd be good to include some information about Mityana. Here at the top of the screen, you can see this is Uganda. It's everything you thought it may be, but this is where the children's shelter is based. Coming a little bit further down, it's a very poor area. It's like a mud hut village mostly, with a little bit of brick. Got the kids dancing again on the mobile screen here. This is mainly for engagement. Still going, still smashing out the moves. Loving your work, kids. To help sustain the land, they grow maize, which have been helped them to farm recently. They change the crops here and there where they can to try and make some money, or they do exchange the crops for medicine where they can as well. I was asking Lumboy the other day which crops sell the most, which crops sell at which time, how long does it take to farm the crops, where should we be aiming our farmland at, what should we be growing on the farmland that's going to make you a turnover so you can carry on going forward. We are working on that at the moment. There is some land for sale next door which we may look at in the future, maybe not, I'm not sure. So look, let's meet the children then. So I thought it would be good to include in the website an actual page where you can see the kids who live within the children's shelter, and you can see exactly where your donations are going. So at the top we've got a little elephant. Scrolling down, we're going to meet the children, and we've got a little bit. So we've got the dreams. This little boy wants to be a pharmacist, a nurse. We've got Malongi here. She's the a lot of them. Sorry, it's the kids, but look at that face. What? And then just got a little bit of information about everybody that does live in the children's shelter. We want to make a difference to where they live. This is the kitchen here. That is the old water tank. They couldn't really use the kitchen because it was all run down. This is where they store the food. This is the bedroom with the old mosquito nets with holes in, all tatty and ripped. So it wasn't really looking good over there. We jumped in, so we get involved now. There we go. So getting involved is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Use the donate buttons on our website. You go through to GoFundMe, and then the funds will get transferred. Our donations. So what have the donations so far helped with? As it stands, we've received £60 worth of donations to date. That hasn't been enough to cover everything that we've been doing. There's no way, it wouldn't even touch the sides really on the amount of money that we've sent over for the changes and the improvements that have happened at the shelter. Every time Alpha Grafikon has earned some money, the children, they've received at least some portion of that, even if it's 40 quid a week to keep them ticking over. Is the kids something, when we have earned, the children's shelter has received some funds from us. Since we became on board and we started to try and help the children's shelter, the children now have 2 substantial meals a day instead of 1. This is a big difference. By substantial, it means that there's proteins in there, there's sugars in there, there's honey, there's different things that the children are having which they never had before. So that's the very first difference. Something simple, something that we take for granted, 2-3 meals a day. These kids have 1 in the morning or at night if they were lucky. I used to have Ishmael to me just saying, look, we've got no food and I don't know what to do, and I'm trying to scramble around for some funds to try and help the guy out. But we turned the little corner and it is ticking over a little bit, so we don't hit the bottom of the barrel quite as soon as they used to. We've got some new mosquito nets you may have seen in the bedroom on the previous page. There was holes in them. The mosquito nets were a nightmare. So now we've got some brand new ones covering all the beds. A new water tank on the previous page. You may be able to see a picture on the screen depending on how graphic-y I'm feeling. The old water tank, it was just a big metal thing with no real lid. It was just like a broken piece of metal across the top. So we've got them a brand new water tank which you can see on the screen there. It's got a nice little lid, big plastic, heavy duty thing that's going to last for a really long time. So there's another difference that has been made in the children's lives. Thanks to donations towards the shelter from both Yazaz and Alpha Grafikon, these donations have enabled the children to work on farming. So that's stuff like pesticides on tomatoes to get all the bugs and stuff off of tomatoes so the kids can eat them. They've been able to farm maize. They're making the most of the land. The only thing is like a water source because the rain is very sporadic. Yeah, it's making a difference. They are starting to farm their own stuff, trade them for medicines. The next one, you can see a couple of kids on the screen. They are working away. Donations have been able to get the kids school books, so they've been able to learn whilst everything's in lockdown over there. This would not have happened previously. This would not have happened without the funds there. So yeah, that's absolutely amazing. And then the most recent one, February this year, we had a very good start to the month, and we had a very good start to the year really. We were absolutely flying. So we wanted to pay it forward and help the children's shelter out. So I messaged Ishmael and I said, Ishmael, they had concrete floors actually in the house, and I'm like, how much is it, Ishmael, to get the kids an actual floor? Because I'm Western world, I've got wooden floor, I'm on a fluffy carpet at the minute. I'm used to, I don't want to look at concrete. But he was saying a lino costs quite a lot, and then I'm thinking, am I being superficial? If that's what they used to, am I being superficial? So I basically said to Ishmael, if we were to send you X amount of money, what is the most productive thing you would be able to spend it on? What do you need the most? And he was like, we could use a new kitchen because we have to cook outside. Okay, that makes sense, buddy. We can't have you cooking outside. Now this little thing here, you may have saw the kitchen on the last page. I may get one up on the screen for you and have a look at the broken rundown kitchen that they used to cook from. We've got a brand new kitchen, all concrete. Look at that, flaming away. All we need is like some tiles for the roof of the kitchen, and then they are absolutely flying in there. Yeah, that's the biggest thing that I think we've done so far. The kids always appreciate everything that we do. So they send us little thank you notes, thank you letters, so we need to help the children. As you can see on the screen behind us here, there's lots of kids. Now all these kids do not live at the children's shelter, so what Ishmael does, if there is a surplus of food or any of the donations and the stuff he's bought does tend to overflow, he'll go and feed what they call the street kids, the kids that don't have an orphanage, don't have any families, and basically just survive on the actual streets. But he does try and help them as much as. Private water well, books and shelter improvements. We are on the way. They've got books, not so much. They've not really got toys at the moment. It's not on the high on their list of priorities. We do have like loads of clothes to go over to. I just need to find the time to find a way to get it over to Uganda. And then we want the shelter improvements. So we've got, I would like a new floor in there, but it's not perfect. I've got like concrete at the very least, maybe some windows. I don't know what the windows are like. The roof on the kitchen, there's all sorts of little things that can actually be done. When we do, there's like a few projects that we're working on at the moment. There will be a video coming. I'm working on a Jake Paul project. It's been going for 9 months. I want to do a little video, just basically the story so far, so you can see what the hell's going on. But from that, we're looking at making quite a bit of money. When we do make that, there's the money that comes in. I want to get a team together, fly over to Uganda, basically stick the well in, get some a fence or a wall or whatever around the children's shelter to get it boxed in, maybe get a gate on the front, just get out. I want to pimp it out, man. I want to pimping kit. I want to be like Exhibit, X to the Z. I want to be like that, but in Uganda. Yo, this is A to the G. This is A to the G, man. It's pimp my shelter. Come on. So yeah, pimp my shelter. It'll be a whole new thing. As you can see, how it looks. You can see here is the official paperwork. Alpha Children's Shelter Mityana, all paid and signed for, stamped and released. It is an official shelter and it is now sanctioned by the Ugandan government. And then just the contact page on the end there. Lovely job. If you do want to make a donation, because they are always in need, and to be honest, I am a business owner, so I can give until a point where I need, do you know what I mean? As a business owner or an entrepreneur, you're constantly filling up a bucket with a hole in, so I can't allow any more funds to be released unless it's an emergency. Mrs. De Bunyan needs medication for her knees basically, but we need to make some more money or we need to get some donations in order to fund that. Just because I'm a business owner, I'm not letting anything get below a certain level before more comes in, because otherwise we're never going to get anywhere. But there's business coming in over the next week. Lots of lovely people have been messaging me. I've got lots of clients to be doing next week, and it's going to be beautiful, man. Get them sorted. We'll get Mrs. De Bunyan's knees sorted. We'll get them a well. We'll get the shelter bouncing, and then we'll pimp it. We're going to pimp this shelter, man. We're going to pimp it up. Yeah. Thanks for watching, gang. That is the end of the showcase thing, whatever I call it, whatever it's called. Thanks for watching. You've all been beautiful. I get the remote like this. I look at the button like this. And I press the button like this.